Good evening, everyone. I'm already out of breath.
It's because he was yelling at us.
After that pre-stream discussion.
We got yelled at.
we got yelled at by Dad.
Fellow DMs out there, please. Side with me. Anyway.
Like I will say, it was the equivalent of holding the flashlight for your dad and you fucked up. Okay, I'm done.
What?
It was the equivalent of holding the flashlight for your dad and you fucked up.
Oh.
So anyway, we're AdventureCheck. Hey, it's Tuesday and it's a short-ass week for probably a lot of people, and I'm done already. So,
it sounds about right.
We are going to be continuing our campaign of Darkening of Mirkwood tonight. And tonight is a somewhat of a special session, as it is the Fellowship phase. But before we get into any of that, we will do a recap phase. Kevin, I will fucking annihilate you.
Okay, Mom.
Last time.
Oh no.
Last time, the Fellowship. Lindsay! Yeah! Last time, the Fellowship, in an event, or in an attempt to try and solve what has been plaguing one of the river maidens known as Duskwater, who had been behind the tragedy of the Black Tarn. They accompanied Radagast into the heart of Mirkwood in search for one of the great spiders, Tyrants the Weaver. With an strange alliance with the brother of Tyrants, Taller, they located her lair, went inside, severed a few wards, and let Taller eventually have an ambush upon his sister and flee in terror for the most part, as the Fellowship left it whole behind, hoping that one of the things they severed was enough to free Duskwater. They then fled for the Black Tarn, where they found now the remnants of a burning village and a goblin and orc outpost. Several bodies and corpses affixed to stakes outside the walls, and the smell of the village burning. But the water and the weeds that seem to have been choking the life from the river and the lake seem to be receding. Radagast found Duskwater almost lifeless upon the shoreline, and a boat was secured, and with the help with some magic and the other river maiden sisters, the Fellowship made their way back to Woodmen Town, where, using the Lamp of Balathi, an ancient elven gem, Duskwater was seemingly healed. But not after Radagast went missing. And by missing, he just sort of disappeared, things wizards do. Duskwater awoke a few days later, seemingly in control of her wits and able to carry conversation. And that is where we left off. So tonight begins the Fellowship phase, as the company has completed their current journey, and they find a moment of reprieve and downtime to gather themselves and plot what they would do next. So that's where we're going to begin. So we'll open up tonight, where all of you are still in the House of Balathi. Duskwater is currently here. It has only been probably the next day. So you guys are all here, and I'll open the RP floor to you guys to see discuss what has transpired and what you guys are thinking of doing next.
Well,
so our choices were to either attack the Black Tarn or leave that camp and be possibly surrounded and push on to Tyrants Hill.
I think we should prepare for an assault on the Black Tarn, so that way we don't have enemies at our back when we move south.
I agree with that, because if they have a faster way of communication, we could be trapped or our escape could be blocked.
Right. They're already within Woodman border at that rate too, and I'd like to remedy that problem. Something we need to watch out for is that there may be more, well, I mean, the men of Tyrants Hill are men, yes, but I heard someone else's voice other than your typical orc and goblin at Black Tarn when Nathan and I were scouting around. Didn't hear much or couldn't pinpoint who it may be or what, and didn't see anybody, but all I heard was someone in West Run saying double their watch, so somebody other than Orc is running operations over there in Black Tarn, so...
Could it perhaps be the Mordred from Tyrant Hill?
No. I'd recognize that voice from anywhere.
Well, when we march there, I'm sure we will find out.
I would like to face him one more time eventually.
So...
Too bad. That was out of character, by the way.
Gonna say, all right, fuck you too, buddy.
So, because of whoever's presence is there, might not be entirely easy, so to speak, to retake the Black Tarn, but as everyone has said already, I agree in taking care of that thorn in the side first before moving forward. Dwindle their resources.
Scorched earth.
Also, we cannot forget the boon Duskwater has promised us. We do not know when we will have it, but we will know it.
That is true.
And maybe now that we've not only helped her and saved her, the other river maidens might be helpful to us too in retaking the land.
Well, she's still in the room with us, isn't she?
Duskwater is, potentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Duskwater.
We're just kind of talking like she's not here.
She's resting.
Is she resting, or is she wide awake listening?
I thought she was resting since last time.
She's like rubbing her temples, like a bad hangover.
Oh, I know. Actually, I don't know how that feels, because Hathis doesn't drink alcohol.
So the question is, would we attack as our little group for a more stealthy way, or should we go in with a larger force?
We need more than us, based on what Mathan and I saw. It's being treated as an outpost.
So how fast could those people from your village, Nayla, arrive if you were to send word for help?
Well, if I'm getting people from Mountain Hall, where are we? Woodmen Town? It's about a day and a half travel to get here. But with this being the center stage for the Woodmen and Ruskabel, there might be some people already around that I can grab.
You're in Woodmen Town.
Woodmen Town. Yeah, that's center. Or am I mixing that up with Ruskabel? Being like the big...
The big one's Woodland Hall.
Woodland Hall. Fudge!
But you're in Woodmen Town.
Gotcha. Anyways, it will probably take, I'd say, a few days, maybe double that, just to get some people, gather forces and whatnot, but I'm only the chieftain of Mountain Hall. I'd have to speak with the other leaders and have them agree that taking back the Black Tarn is of priority, which, to be honest, I can't imagine that being a difficult challenge, but
well,
I'm also more rash of a person than anybody else.
That sounds like a situation that requires a lot of words, and while I can talk to spiders, apparently, I doubt I can convince the woodmen very much anything. But I can convince orcs and goblins with my axe, and men and beast as well. So perhaps my skills are best suited trying to hunt down some patrols in the forest. Perhaps I can recover some information that way. Very least, thin their numbers a little bit. Protect other settlements.
I think that would be most helpful, Hathis. The more information we can get during the time that I spend trying to gather people and resources to reach Black Tarn, the better.
Maybe I could spend time here. I've already been working with the villagers, just helping them out where they need. Maybe I could just keep talking about our tale to the Black Tarn and rescuing Duskwater. Maybe we can change their view, and maybe we could muster some people here. Keep this as a safe place.
It's an idea. Saruman might still be here too. If there's any great consultation to get, it would be from a wizard. I don't know where Radagast has gone off to. Otherwise, I'd talk to him.
Yeah, talking is not my strong suit. Talking should be done, but I'm more a person of action.
You and I both. Sometimes I'm still really surprised how I got into this role. But that's life. Life is weird.
I'll drink to that.
No beast knows what the next day will bring, and neither can we.
No. Absolutely not.
Well then. I'm going to start preparing for my patrol, ambush, hunt. I think that's a better word to phrase it, hunt.
I like that.
When the time comes, I will return back here to Woodmen Town. We just talked about this, and I fucked it up.
Woodland Hall.
Woodmen
right?
Hall.
Wait, it's Woodmen Town and then Woodland Hall. You're muted.
You are in Woodmen Town.
Woodmen Town. Yeah, second guess was right. Why do the Woodmen that's not like naming a place York and New York. Sorry, breaking the fourth wall a little bit there.
The New Wood.
Yes, I will return here before we are ready to set out. I'll basically return here to rest between my hunts. So you'll be able to find me. And Hathis stretches a bit. I need to go see if I can find some milk. I'm thirsty. And Hathis will leave to look for milk in the town.
Okay.
Well, with the upcoming battle, I think I should be prepared and get ready. So, if you need me, I'll be doing some training. Soldiers here look like they could put up a good fight.
Yeah.
They're at least tough, if anything.
They are. And they're very pissed off right now.
Ooh, even better fight.
Just don't be a punching bag.
When have I ever been... Yeah, okay. And that's what Nathan will do. He'll go off, get some training done, improve his proficiency with his new sword, Theranil.
The new sword.
Yeah, new, not so much new, but it's new, but it's remade. It's, you know what? I'm just gonna go full fucking Aragorn. It's been remade. And that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Find some soldiers and be like, hey, you with the face.
Duskwater.
Pokemon trainer. Is that what you are?
You made eye contact with me? Time to battle!
I'm just walking to go to the store.
Duskwater.
Yes.
How and when do you plan to return?
In a few days' time, I should be well enough. And I'll go down to the docks and slip into the water.
And you'll be safe then?
Curious question.
Yeah, that's right.
These lands were safe at one point, and I guess I am now living proof that may no longer be the case.
I don't think you're the only proof. But I understand. Do you believe you may need an escort of any sort back to the Black Tarn?
I may not make my way there just yet. I will probably first find my sisters somewhere along the Dusky River. In time, I do plan to return there. I don't think I'm just yet strong enough to do so.
Very well. Is there anything further you need from us before we plan and prepare?
The promise that you will right where I have wronged. But in my efforts to aid you, before I depart, I will give you an indication of where you can find the boon that I have. It is out in the forest, stored safely.
May I ask what direction? Landmarks?
I will have it for you before I leave.
Very well. Thank you.
No, thank you.
We're all just doing our best. All just trying to survive.
That is all man can do, is it? Resist, fight, survive.
Yeah. In my experience, there's little left over in life to have after that. It's just surviving. Making do with what you have.
Perhaps a future will come from your efforts where that is no longer the case.
Maybe. But I'm getting older. I'm only human. We'll see how much more life I actually have left after all of this.
Approximately 2 sessions.
But I appreciate it. The sentiment. Many have tried to do the whole chin up ordeal.
Valar knows that I may have been a beacon for the Woodmen of hope and protection. Whatever beacon that may have been has been snuffed out by my own hands. I will need someone else.
Well, then we'll find who that is. Find who that is. Well, it sounds like I have big people to talk to. Awesome. We'll start with Ingemar,
Luckily.
and I'll go from there. Yay!
How long is the fellowship phase you guys are gonna take?
As far as I know, it's a shorter one, but I don't remember the specific time scale we were given.
I think that was up to us in the
You
end.
weren't given one, it was up to you.
Yeah.
Well, then it should be set by whoever's doing the longest thing.
I agree. So, I mean...
Because Hathis' thing is as far as I know, he's just gonna go in the woods, try and find some things to smack around, and come back. He's gonna do that. That's gonna be what he does until we're ready to go. See if he can maybe find some paper or interrogate some people.
Nayla's might, if it's essentially trying to gather and rally forces as much as she can across the Woodmen towns.
I mean, honestly, I think all you really have to do is go to Woodmen Hall, because if I remember correctly, Woodmen Hall is pretty much the only settlement that has any kind of standing force. Right,
but with Ingemer also present currently where we are now, I mean, I'm thinking about how long it may take to just get word out and for people to travel. This could be like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or just to be on the safe side of things. Or if she does have to keep running around like Mountain Hall and whatnot to make sure everything's all hunky-dory.
Let's just say a month then.
It's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Cool.
That makes sense.
Alright. So the four of you, for lack of a better term, scatter to the four winds. Going about your own business, resting, reprieving, getting ready, doing what you think needs to be done in the coming battle ahead. Now let's start with you.
Oh joy.
You're the first one in my camera layout here, so.
That's fair.
So, what would you like to do? Find Ingemer?
Yeah.
Ingemer X-Breaker.
I am aware that he's present here in town, right?
You've probably heard whispers of it, because ordinarily he'd be in Woodland Hall.
Right.
Yeah, you've probably heard that he's around. More than likely, he's probably with Fridwald.
Oh no!
it's the leaders of the villages. There's Nayla of Mountain Hall. There's Ingemer Axebreaker of Woodland Hall, and then there's Fridwald, the runner of Woodmen Town.
Oops.
So.
Well then, yeah, I would probably. Yeah, if I needed to find out where he was or if he was here, it would probably be going back to Fridwald.
Anywhere in particular you would begin that search?
For Fridwald?
Sure. Whoever you would be beginning the search.
Search for Ingemer. I guess I would start back where we first saw him when we were coming in from the boats. See if he's still... See if he happens to be at the docks again.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Oh! Birdie, help me.
Natural 20, 21 total.
I would have liked that for some... Whatever. I'll take it.
You head down to the docks, and there's a handful of fishermen and probably about 2 boats that are docked that seem to be unloading some fish, barreling a couple of things. You look around, you don't see Fridwald immediately, but there are people here to ask for sure.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna approach the most friendly looking person in the area.
Okay. You find a very lanky individual. It looks like he has no muscle on him. Skin and bones kind of guys. The skin is sort of pulled tight to the frame. Hail, Nayla Mountainor.
Haru will be on my shoulder and arm as I approach, taking a rest. Hey, do you know where Fridwald is?
Fridwald? Yes, I believe he's up in the Great Hall with Master Ingemer.
Oh. He's here too.
Hi, Ingemer came in, from what I heard, late last night.
Timing. Timing is perfect. Cool. Great. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what? How much is a fish?
2 copper.
Son of a fuck. I have a silver penny. How much is that?
You can have 5 fish.
Ah, cool. I'll toss him a silver penny and I'll start throwing fish at Haru to eat.
Ow. Ow. Just walking through town, just going whoop.
Yep, just feeding a bird.
What a strange sight. You make your way back into town and head up the hill towards the center, where you see a similar sight of a longhouse nested under a tree. The braziers outside are lit. There's a gentle wind, but it is overcast. Maybe 2 guards outside with wood shields and spears in hand. They notice your approach and they sort of stand up at a little bit of an attention and let you walk right in. They already know who you are.
I'll give him a nod.
You walk inside. There's maybe 4 to 5 people moving about, but in the center, where you see the long fireplace or fire pit, you see older Ingemer Axebreaker sitting to your left, and on the sort of like at the corner of it, straight ahead, is Fridwald.
I will approach them and give them both a nod.
Ingemer returns it and beckons you forward. Fridwald gives you the coldest, like...
I apologize for the swiftness a few days ago. Time was truly of the essence. Fridwald.
Well, I don't doubt that, but sometimes it's best to keep in mind who your people are and who you speak to.
Yeah. It's been a long few weeks. A very long few weeks. And that was just... Yeah. I apologize, but thank you all the same for letting us accomplish what we needed to accomplish with Duskwater.
Well, we are still uneasy about her being here. It's been an uneasy few weeks for all of us, especially with word from the south. And Ingemer raises his hand up, saying, "That's enough, Fridwald. Like you said, it has been uneasy on all of us. Nayla, please, have a seat." And as you move over to take your place, Haru hops off and he finds a perch off near a window.
Oh, that bird gets heavy.
Ingemer leans forward towards the fire as the flames sort of dance and crackle of the wood. He stares into the flame with his hands out in front of him like this, and there's a long, momentary pause. Word has reached my ears, Nayla, of the one who commanded the assault on the Black Tarn. I knew the day from the Folkmoot that he would most likely act rashly or brood for some time. But this...
Yeah.
I could not have imagined this, of all things.
being... As someone who was also previously forced out of home, for lack of better terms, it does do its toll. And it depends on how you deal with it. But I agree. Couldn't help. A few companions of mine and I in the past couldn't help also have a bad feeling about him, and have tried to keep an eye on him, and, well, here we are. But now we just have to deal with it.
It hurts as a parent to see this, to see the destruction one could wrought.
It hurts.
Brother doesn't take it too kindly either.
Yeah.
I often think what might have changed had the Folkmoot gone differently, had the elders voted differently. But now is not the time for such things. Regrets are a luxury in this world that we currently cannot afford. I digress. You came here for a purpose.
I came to speak about our next actions. There's no more regretting, as you said, no more. The grief is still here with all of us, but it's about time the Woodmen turn it around to act. And I think some companions and I right now, think the first step is retaking the Black Tarn. It's currently being used as an outpost by the orcs and goblins that took it. Someone else dwells in there too, someone who can speak Western like us, humanoid likely. Whether they may be from Tyrants Hill or elsewhere, but I wouldn't doubt it's someone under Mogdred's control, rule, whatever phrase you want to use. And my concern with that kind of organization in Black Tarn is that if we leave it alone, when they're already within our borders, is that it's only going to get worse before we can even try to go to Tyrants Hill. But myself and a few companions of mine can't do that ourselves, not with the numbers over there.
What do you propose? We understand our territory has been invaded. We have lost land, and we have lost a great many warriors from the Black Tarn. Leaders as well. If we are to retake Black Tarn, it'll need defended. It'll need re-established. That will take leadership, that will take time.
Yes. But better doing that and taking the time to rebuild than letting it fall, yes?
Very true. We exist as independent peoples that coexist and make decisions for the betterment of our respective villages, as he gestures to you and Fridwald.
Yeah.
And it is not often that we unite and go to war as a single people. We are no Bardings, we are no Bjornings, and we are a far cry from Gondorians.
No, but presently I think everybody here has seen enough, suffered enough, or there's enough blood rising to see to a better outcome. We all, you and I especially individually, have seen enough people fall to this. Close people, loved ones, past and present. And it's just time we end it. It's time we stop it.
I've heard Radagast has disappeared yet again.
Yeah, it's really pisses me off. I was gonna try to talk to him, but, you know, so much for consulting a man of magic.
It's times like these that we need not rely on the wizards. They wander and meddle in matters that do not belong to them, and they give their advice when it is not asked for. But the moments that they are required, they seem to be missing.
You have a point.
I agree that this is a matter that only we as a people can handle. My fear is that we do not have the strength to press upon the Black Tarn and then Tyrants Hill. To wage war on all of southern Mirkwood is a war we cannot win.
The Black Tarn would at least be a start. At least reestablishing and retaking our homes and land. And then rebuilding. And depending on the outcome of the Black Tarn, how well it goes or otherwise, we can reconvene and move on from there.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh god, no! It's a -1.
You got fellowship die.
Do we still?
As
Yeah,
my
Or is it-
phase is over.
I was wondering about that.
So we
Yeah.
only
Only
used
We
one
only
of
used
them.
one. Okay, here we go, friends.
In a way, that's a good thing.
And
Damn.
which is oddly appropriate for
It
thinking about
is.
gift dice and everything. Okay.
That's classic.
Fridwald and Ingemar look towards one another. Fridwald slowly sort of stands up and sort of meanders back towards what would be a throne. But as you know, the woodmen don't have thrones. Ingemar sticks
Right.
with it. It is indeed a start. And my heart is broken for the Black Tarn. I wish we had a better garrison there. I wish word would have came to us and we would have been able to do something. But again, regrets are not for now. If we would take the Black Tarn, what would you see done with it? Re-established as another independent tribe of ours? Unfortunately, Seowyn cannot be here to weigh in on such matters, as short notice as they are. Luckily, I was here already.
I was initially thinking of just trying to make right again what has been wronged. Perhaps just going back in time, so to speak, to just put it back together like it used to be. But you sound like you're on the edge of proposing a different idea than that. You spoke of uniting all of us. Is that where you're going?
Some time ago, the woodmen would unite under one banner in times of need. Not so much be the necessity of a folk moot. We do have the ability to anoint a leader in times of need until the crisis has passed. Nayla, you have advantage, by the way, for your next roll.
Yay! Thank you!
And Fridwald is now slowly making his way back. I'm old, Nayla. I have fought my war. And in that war, I lost my son. And the ghosts from that war saw my son returned to be a plague upon our people.
So we need a different leader. Someone else. To unite and move forward.
If we are to go to war and unite, our people will need someone to look to. Someone strong and someone who will not hold back to retake what belongs to our people.
I don't disagree with that.
And Fredwald sort of holds out his hands, and you see like a something wrapped up in like a shawl or a blanket of some sort in his hands, and it's probably about that big in shape. And he extends his hands out to you.
What?
Take it.
You were just giving me the stink eyes earlier.
Well, fine. I'll take it back.
No,
He's not
what is it?
willing
What is
to
it?
do this, and do you take it?
What? Sure, I'll take it. What is this?
You open it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
All right. Pulling teeth. Take it. I'm just gonna hold on to it. You see, a decorated sort of whitish gray and black, polished horn, which has got a gold clasp around the center of it and a mouthpiece at one end. Nayla of Mountain Hall. This horn belongs to the war leader, a chieftain of the Woodmen people. One that would be wielded in battle and whose sound can be heard from across the vales. We will unite under you. You will be the war leader of the Woodmen people, general of all of our forces.
Me. The brash-speaking former exile.
Are you here to nominate someone else?
No, I'm just very shocked.
Again, we are the leaders of this culture, the three of us here, the exception of Saywin and the unfortunate demise of Maliota. My war is over.
But mine is not.
I cannot muster the fields like I once did, and to take the field against my own son would break me in two.
I understand.
And he's Fridwald the runner. He'll run from the field.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you've seen Saywin's hair, I'm pretty sure he would be scared to get it dirty. Now, if somebody's going to lead our forces, or somebody we're going to unite under, it has to be a warrior at heart. Fighter and a leader. You were exiled once, and now you've chieftained the very home that which banished you. The determination you hold is enough to see this through. Take this horn, as it signifies your station.
Thank you.
Do right by our people. The forces of Woodmen Hall and Woodmen Town are at your disposal. And of course, any forces you can muster from Mountain Hall as well. You can send word to Sunstead to see if they have any troops willing to be borrowed.
I will.
They're duty bound to answer the call, but of course if you have a better task for them, I'm sure they would listen. Football, I'll dispatch a runner at once to Saowen to at least give him a heads up of what has been transpired here. I'm sure news of the Black Tarn has reached him by this point.
If they don't smell it.
Pray that they don't. There's one thing to hear of a defeat. It is another for the winds to carry it. That morale will break our people.
Oh. Well. Life is strange.
Not over yet.
No. But as you said, or as we've said, the fight continues on and I'm not done. So I'll keep going either way.
Very well. We leave the overall strategy to you. Word will be dispatched for all able, willing to wield a sword or an axe to make their way here. And as soon as they cross through that gate, they'll be at your command.
Very well.
End this, Nayla, and it has transpired for many years too long.
It has. This fight against the Shadow has lasted for way too long. From Mogdred to my family and to friends from either of us and everyone else. It will be the last thing I do, if anything. You have my word.
Pray that it isn't. I fear that we are merely a passage in the grander story of things. But let us play our part.
Very well. Duskwater is still here for a time. She's recovered fully, but she will return to the waters shortly. I hope that no one tries to do anything funny around her presence.
Well, considering your current station, if she is under your protection, only a fool would attempt such a thing.
Good talk, then.
Best of luck to you, General.
And you, Ingemer. I hope the rest of the years for both of us we find some relief after breaking hearts.
Yes, I wish that as well.
I will give another nod. I'm going to swiftly leave. And the moment she steps outside, she's just gonna be like, what? And spend the next few hours just silently freaking out in a corner.
Haru flies after you as you about face and stamp her off. So for you, Nayla,
I got
your standard of living now is upgraded to prosperous.
Oh!
Having received the title of War Leader.
Oh!
Your holding also goes up by 1 in terms of rating, but it cannot go over 6. So if it was at 6, it can't go up.
I don't remember what it was, but okay. I don't think it was at 6.
Okay. That was not for me to remember.
Talked about it once.
The horn, you can put in your inventory as the Great War Horn of the Hunter.
Ooh, okay. I am sweating. That was hard.
You can use it as an action in combat. All allies of the war leader may then use their reaction to recover hit points equal to 7 or 2d6 plus the war leader's proficiency bonus.
It's an action to use it, and then the benefit is people using a reaction?
Your allies who hear can use their reaction to recover 2d6 plus your proficiency bonus.
Alright, allow allies to use. Can you say that one more time to gain what?
2d6 plus your proficiency bonus.
2d6 plus prof. Of hit points.
Yes.
Okay.
You heal them.
Ah! Keep going!
It's like a spur of inspiration.
Sounds good.
Once you use the horn, once the horn has been sounded, the war leader must take a short rest before using it again.
Oh, awesome!
Or at least that ability. Nothing stops you from sounding the horn.
Just blowing the horn.
You get my point.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that is all that comes with the station of war leader.
Okay. Cool. She'll spend she'll spend the whole month after all that just gathering forces that are currently present, and then she would, if she can go outside, out of town, she would definitely at least go to Mountain Hall to get her own peeps. If she can. Or at least tell a bunch of runners to get all over the place with with the woodmen and just have them come back.
Yeah, Mountain Hall is like a 2-day.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
That's feasible. That's not that big of a deal since you have a month.
I imagine her walking back, and Ovid is gonna be like, "Oh, you're back! You can finally be a leader again." Yeah, no, we're going to war. What?
Yeah, I'm your leader. I'm their leader, and I'm also their leader over there. Get your things. We're going.
Poor Avana.
Said that I'm leader of people over there. See you guys over there. Hi.
So yeah, you'd spend essentially maybe 5 days total, 2 days going there, 2 days back, probably a day there of getting everything organized. You know, the whole Riders of Rohan, Edoras emptying and all that, and making the march.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff.
Cool.
And over the course of the month, troops trickle in from Woodland Hall. None from Sunstead. They're not that responsive yet.
Fair enough.
Takes time to get there, especially with the Black Tarn gone. There is no easy passage currently to there.
Yeah.
But yeah, over the course of the month, your garrison will swell.
Sweet.
Any questions or anything else you want to theoretically do?
No, I don't. Not that I can think of right now. I'm a little like, huh, with what just happened.
Okay.
So, nope, that sounds
right.
good. She's just gonna make sure everything gets prepared to essentially, I guess, march later toward Black Tarn.
Nominate a quartermaster.
Yeah.
Okay. Nathan,
Cool.
you're up.
Yes, I am up.
What would you like to do? How would you like to spend your time?
Well, considering the possible big fight that's ahead, Nathan having kind of one opponent left that he just wants to beat into the goddamn ground, we're gonna go and see if I could train with the woman and make myself a little stronger, more proficient with my relatively newer sword, Theraneal.
So you're looking at the training undertaking?
Yes.
So that's specifically for cultural virtues. Which virtue are you trying to progress?
Oh, ready for that.
Pop quiz.
Yeah, I was saying pop quiz time.
Actually, there's nothing pop about it. We've had a week to think about.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry, I was busy. I lost connection all of a sudden. That is a handsome question, DM. Let's fill it with another question. Isn't dueling one of my features?
I think so. Well,
No.
isn't that...
That's not a cultural virtue.
Yeah.
That's a class feature.
Let's see, let me pull up my thing real quick here. By thing, I mean book. Sorry.
You know what cultural virtues do you have already?
See, I have royalty revealed.
Royalty
Everything else
revealed is a class feature as well for warriors.
is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought it was cultural. Let me check because I didn't organize my cultural virtues. Doing a dying cultural virtues. Give me 1 second. Let me get to that page. Sorry, folks. As you could tell, I was woefully unprepared. I thought I could just go get jacked and that'd be a day.
Be a month.
Yeah,
A
could
month
do,
of getting jacked.
doing like that scene from The Longest Yard, getting like some soldiers on risers and just squatting it up and down. Okay, sweet Devil's Guardian.
Oh wait, royalty royalty revealed is a cultural virtue. Sorry.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's where I was like, oh, okay.
Specifically Northern Dunedain only.
Oh.
But let me check something. You may take a bonus action revealed by the surgeon of your allies to 10 people, blah 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 blah. It also cannot take the reactions. Enemy frightened. So that while that is a virtue, there is no second tier to it, so you can't train the ability to get a new feature from it.
Yeah, plus I think I already made it, or I already trained it before, so I don't want to do that again. I think I want to take on in Endurance of the Dunedain, which I don't think I have yet.
Well, training. Some cultural virtues offer a chance to change, improve, or expand on how they work if a character spends an undertaking learning how to further utilize them. See the description of the cultural virtue for more about how this works. So if you don't have the Dauntless Guardian one yet. So training is to train a feature that you already have.
Okay.
This isn't gaining one.
Right.
Typically you gain virtues when you level. Trying to see if... Let me move this so I'm speaking into the mic.
Well, for ease, because I don't think I have any other virtues. I don't think I've really taken them. I was gonna go recovery then.
A player here might choose some fundamental...
That's fair.
Features, but such changes can arise in the event during adventure choices.
Fellowship faces are fun.
Yeah, that wouldn't make a difference. Okay, so you wanted to do a recovery then?
Yeah. just for ease. We'll do kind of like training on the side, just get my mental state kind of like back in. Like I'll go just spar with, you know, the whoever's available really to spar. I don't want to say like soldiers, but kind of like the woodmen, just going around after I kind of like rest for a little bit after this long, shadowy journey, and do some recreational sparring, training, sharpening of my swords, and just taking time to recover and get my mind back in the game. And just restore all my hit dice, essentially.
I just want to make sure you're getting what you want out of this, because you already took a long rest, so all these features that you would get from recovery, you already got.
Yeah, we already got a long rest. I got nothing else, and I want to move this forward, so fuck it. Just fuck it. Let's go. I'll just stick with my recreational sparring. I want to get ready for the fight with Mogdred.
Maybe we'll circle back to you.
Yeah. Nope, it's already done. It's all good. There's really nothing else I plan on doing or wanted to do.
It's heal corruption, receive a title.
Get a title. Pick number 2, my lord.
I don't even know what title like I can get here, but
Just ask for one. They literally give them away.
Research lore. And then there was the ones that were new as of this stint in the journey that I shared.
Yeah, like patrolling or consulting Saruman.
Yeah, because he is still in Roscabel.
you know what? Let's gain some knowledge on my foe. Potential foe. I'm gonna go consult, Ingomar is Mogdred's father, correct?
Yes.
Just try to keep track of some players sometimes. I'm gonna request an audience with him and see if I can gain any like intel on Mogdred if I plan on fighting him in the future.
If.
Okay.
If, when, who knows?
Okay.
Maybe Sappho's killed him, who knows?
You meander about town for a few days. Just trying to recover, rest. At one point, you head up towards the Longhouse. You heard word that Ingomar is still in the village, especially as you begin to notice that other woodmen, warrior-looking woodmen, begin to arrive as well. You make your way up to the Longhouse. Ingomar is inside. He is standing near a table that appears to have a few candles lit on it, large piece of parchment scrawled out over it, and a couple of small objects sitting in random places on the parchment. And there's about 3 other woodmen warriors around him.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say something, sorry. Looked like you're loading up this big...
Nope.
Okay, sorry. Lord Ingomar, good day.
It has been better, but yes.
Well, I got a feeling I'm about to make it worse. Can I pick your mind at something? Privately?
I suppose. One moment. Yes. Move these. I suggest we move them here. And fortify that position when that time comes. Relay that over to Naylor, please. Rest of you, please leave us. Yes.
I'm just gonna nod to the people passing by.
What can I do for you, Ranger of the North?
Oh, my lord, there's no particularly easy way to say this. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Your son, Mogdred, I'm sure.
Asshole, yeah.
Okay, we can speak. So then I may speak a little more informally. Yes, he is the biggest dick this side of Gondor. Or north of Gondor. But anyway.
Who's the biggest dick on the other side of Gondor?
So I kind of point like to wherever Hathis is and be like, yeah, that one. Anywho, I was wondering if you give me any insight on how to take him down. He has bested me in combat a while ago, and I have a feeling in my gut, where I'm about to put lots of ale, that I may be facing him in the future again.
Well, Nathan, well, it does honor me that you came to me with such problems. From my understanding, the training I gave my son when he was a wee lad is no longer the training that drives him. He was imprisoned in the dungeons of Dol Guldur and tortured for many years, and then essentially turned and raised by the orcs and whatever pariahs exist in such a wretched place. Unfortunately for my insight in terms of how to defeat him, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, something I've also learned, no matter what kind of training you get additionally, you're always going to keep your base. And with the training that you gave him, maybe he still has tells or weaknesses. Or maybe just one gimp foot, I don't know. I'm getting whatever I can in a fellowship phase I did not prepare for because I'm a dumbass. Shut
Yeah. No, I just think it's funny you're asking for information on Mordred, knowing what's happened to him.
I like it.
Hey, I'm getting what
I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
He was stubborn as a child, always noisy, scared off the deer half the time before we even found them during hunts. But his stubbornness is sometimes both a virtue and a curse. I fear that in any indication that determination of his may persist through death itself. And whatever allies he may have bargained with, or struck deals, or forced, for all I know. It is the company he keeps that I find more intriguing and more alarming. His personal guard, from what I can tell, aren't particularly woodmen. They're just outcasts from all over. Bardings, Gondorians, Rohirrim, anyone who would essentially rise up and listen to the whispering shadows. Outcasted and made their way to Tyrants Hill, a place where they can feel welcomed. And if you can build somebody up from the point of nothing, then you have bought yourself loyalty until your last dying breath.
He does seem to capitalize on that loyalty. He made me strike a deal if I lost in combat to him. He didn't seem intent on killing me, more so using me at a later date as a tool or a weapon.
The question becomes, are you the only one who may have had such a deal with him?
I'm not thinking so. It came very easy to him, and quick.
And the concern is who he might call up.
Thing was, he called me for a favor that he didn't even really use or capitalize on.
Who's to say? Ulterior motives may inadvertently show a hand or possess a false sense of security.
But what it does seem is that he holds on to at least some code of honor. He could have easily sent in an army to kill me after our fight. He could have easily had someone help him, but he told everyone to stay back and kept on our promise. So maybe that intel you just gave me, his stubbornness, can be the key of how we win.
It definitely couldn't hurt. But from what word I've heard, it might even be the bird.
Rock's fallen
my
hit the
son-
DM.
My son is merely a lieutenant. He is not the leader of this rabble. Not anymore. Once upon a time, he probably was, but it sounds like something darker and much more powerful has wormed their way into the region.
And they're just using your son.
There's par for the course, it would seem. It pains me to see what has happened to him, and it just pains me that we have not been able to bring him free of this fate. Unfortunately, lines have been drawn.
I apologize for bringing up a sore topic, but I was just looking to see if there's any potential weaknesses you could have given me or something he's known for or done, but the info you did give me did help. Maybe I could find a way to use his stubbornness or his ways of loyalty to my advantage.
I pray that it does bring you something. And if you do face him, just make it quick. My family has been in enough pain.
Hopefully I can ease it.
I will be in your debt.
Think nothing of it.
Go ahead and make a history, a lore, or a riddle check. Your choice.
Never had to do a riddle check. I'm gonna do history because I'm proficient at it, and I'm probably gonna suck dick. Hey, just like that.
Hey!
10. Okay. You may, in accordance to research lore, you may ask me 3 questions as the lore master, and I will give you answers. They may or may not be factual answers, so choose wisely.
Okay, first question.
One will be true. One will be fact, but you will not know which one.
This question might be a little metagaming, but I don't think it matters too much. Are we able to kill Mogdred without killing whatever the fuck it was that brought him back? Like, what's to stop us from killing him? And he's like, surprise, Sade, and brings him back to life once more.
So can you kill Mogdred without killing the Nazgul?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I can't remember if this was a thing. See, I gotta be better note taking like you guys. I suck at it. I do it enough at work. Did Mogdred, does he still have access or use of the Palantir? Or can he, even being undead? Ish.
He has sources of great knowledge.
He just got a book that says knowledge and the K is backwards. With the army or the garrison at the Black Tarn, is there a supernatural force? And by that I mean, is there like a Nazgul, a lack of a better term, a necromancer or something. Is something else there? Just more powerful than like the orcs or Urukai that are currently there.
So the garrison that you came across?
Yes.
Okay. Is there something other than orcs there?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Okay, that's 3.
Alright.
Oh, another question. How are you, DM? So, you still mad at us, bro?
Oh, he's still mad at us.
I know.
Alright. And you proceed to spend the rest of your time waiting for forces to trickle in. You probably relatively quickly catch word, either from Nayla or just from words about town, that she's war leader. She is the general of the Woodmen forces currently. So whatever you do with that information in the span of your next month, working, training, doing whatever you need to do to essentially march south, that is also at your disposal.
You know what? I'm just gonna go see her when I hear that. It's gonna be like a what the fuck moment, and then he's gonna like run over to her, like knock on the door, just.
Alright, one.
Just for some RP, just to make up for my shit performance on this fellowship face.
No problem. Sorry, I had to take these off because I did something to my ear earlier this week, so it was starting to hurt through headphones. You knocked on a door?
Wherever the hell you are. I don't know if you're outside, inside.
No, you know what? She would most likely be spending a lot of her time on outskirts of town, closer to woods, just letting Haru fly around, and she's just staring into wilderness, just time for herself. So that's where you'll find her.
Okay, so then I'll just take time to like find out where Nayla is, like ask around, or just be like, if I was her, I'd probably be yada yada yada, and
Which you
I'll just
would.
try, and I'll go find her.
Yep, you find her quick enough. Usually, a entourage of warriors are around, either acting as captains or lieutenants. She divvies up orders or discusses certain matters at hand.
I see him coming.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yes?
So, do I just keep calling you Nayla? Do I have to call you General? Do I have to call you Generalissima? Like, what's the deal here?
Have I ever cared about formalities?
I don't know. You just got a whole new fancy title.
No, I don't care about formalities.
Hey, you never know. We're literally about to go face something where power does something to someone's brain, so you never know.
No, I get it. No, with those who I have traveled with and considered friends for years, no, formalities do not matter. Just when I thought I was used to being called chieftain, I now get to be called this, and I don't know how to take it.
So let's see, chieftain, general, hawkmaster. I mean, titles are endless here. I don't know, what do you call that flying above?
An eagle, first off.
I kind of look, like, pause for a second. Eagle master, then.
You feel something from the sky hit you on top of it.
I just brushed off, like, I'm not even gonna look up and go, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you brush it off, you pull down your hand, it's covered in white.
No, I don't even look, I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
I just go like, yes, I'm sorry, just get it all out.
It just means he likes you.
Uh-huh. Had a date do that once, didn't mean she liked me.
Curious
Sounds like
about this date.
Yes.
Next one shot.
That one gets kicked off Twitch. You can find that on OnlyFans or something.
We'll have to hit the nearby place for Jinx to hear that story. I don't think I've heard that one yet.
Well. Long time ago. Traveling through out of town. Long story. Speaking of drinks, let's go toast to your new title.
Sure.
What else do you have to do?
A lot, but I'll take it.
It'll be 5 minutes. We'll do a shot, call it a day.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Very good.
I don't know what to do right now with all of this work anyway. It makes me miss Thea.
Poor girl.
Yeah. Poor girl indeed. Hopefully she's okay.
Avana is right next to you as your trusted captain in this particular situation.
I give her the all-knowing, like, salute and, like, you got this!
Sort of how she responds. No, she just informs you. Thea just came by Mountain Hall shortly before you arrived. I actually had dispatched her south.
You did?
I did.
South.
Yeah. South.
Right.
Right?
Is she well?
Well enough for a girl in her condition.
I'm just gonna kind of look like back and forth between two of them. All right, well, drinks. Avana, care to join?
I am more suited here. Apologies.
If people
Not very well.
if people ask for me, just I'll be back. A few minutes.
Yes, General.
Don't. All
Nathan's
right.
kind of walking
We're
away
gonna-
and hears that. He goes, ha ha ha.
We're gonna milk this general thing for all it's worth.
Oh no. All right. Drinks. Yeah, drinks. Let's go, Maven.
Alright, so you guys head off to a tavern.
What have you been up to?
Me?
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. God. Valar, where'd you go?
Nope, it's fine. I didn't know RP was continuing. I will never interrupt RP.
I forgot what I asked.
Yes, what have I been up to?
Right, yeah, as we're walking. Or already there. I don't care. You pick.
We'll already be there.
Cool, sounds good.
So I'll get us a round of ale.
Awesome. She'll do a quick cheer. Like the moment she gets it, she'll hold it up for a cheer and a clink.
I'll go in.
And she just starts downing it.
And I'll match her, because, well, I would say Pop ain't raised. You know what? Morwen ain't raised no bitch.
God. Oh. Is this a game?
We can make it one.
Let's do that later tonight. I still got some things to finish.
So, Mate's gonna sit there like right when you're thinking, your move, General.
I said you could drop the formalities. That's weird. That's weird. I don't...
It's kind of fun.
Why? Why is it fun?
I don't know.
I don't know. It means more responsibility.
Fair.
More lives I have to look after. I don't even know if I can do that.
Well, you already did a decent job as chief. General, you get to go make sure they kill whatever's pissing you off.
Oh, I do like that. I do like that idea.
See?
You're right. You have a fair point.
So, what's that? Another drink? Another round!
All right. One more.
I'll go buy another round. ADM, are these gonna cost money, or are they just giving this generosity out of their heart?
I'm glad you asked.
What?
Curious if he was like squatting down there or sitting down there.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Can I make another history check and ask 3 questions? They will all pertain to that.
You'll get 3 different answers.
I'll do it.
You go for another round. I slide 2 tankards over to you. On the house for the general.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna look back at the general and give like a little smirk, like.
You know what? Fine. Call me whatever. I gotta get used to it, I guess. Fine. Let's hear it. Not too much, please.
So, as the two of you drink to your heart's content for the evening, and your undertakings continue as you guys prepare, this is where we're going to take a break.
Oh!
Ah!
And we'll be right back, and we will wrap up the fellowship phase with the last remaining tea. So don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Ah.
Hail, adventurer! Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you've intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download
and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers. Hail, adventurer. Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Plate Mail Game.
We're back. So, it's probably a little bit par for the course if you haven't noticed, because we've been pretty stingy on updates, but this is pretty much our only stream for this week and next week. Pretty much everything else is on break till New Year. Yeah, so, unless something changes, we will have our last session of the year next Tuesday. Yeah, and then we get into 2022, and then everything else goes to shit again. So, but, yeah. That is pretty much everything. We had our mini painting event on last Saturday. That was fun.
It was. Not all was painted.
Thanks, Mini Pie, for providing those miniatures. Little ornaments, little D&D ornaments.
I still got one. I still got mine hanging in front of me. You can't see on stream, but
I see it.
They can see it in Discord.
I was gonna say, did anyone drop them in to the mini channel?
Oh, I don't think we did this time. We were just talking.
I generally don't share my work. It's private for my enjoyment and consumption only.
The next one was probably gonna be in a few months from now. We're figuring all that out. We have a few events lined up for the new year, so keep a ear out for all that. We'll do our best to make announcements and stuff as moving forward. But with that, let's get back into it. So, continuing on with the fellowship phase for the undertakings that have remaining, you are all in Woodmen Town, preparing for over the course of the next month for the next stint in your journey. Arthas, as the newest member to this particular fellowship, this fellowship has changed and had many members over the course of a few years. But this was the end of the first adventure that you've had with these individuals. What would you like to do?
So first off, like I said, getting a drink of milk.
Finds us at the tavern.
Don't know how hard that's gonna be. I also go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I also had a different idea for Hathvis's fellowship phase, but I feel like it's metagaming, so I'm gonna stick with what I originally had planned.
Okay. Finding milk isn't terribly difficult. They do have such things from farmers around, like a copper piece from the local tavern. They give you a weird look, like, okay. But you get
I gotta drink milk and kick ass.
You get a non-homogenized glass of milk. And if anyone doesn't know what that means it is separated and it looks disgusting. Even the big old milk mustache around them.
Thank you.
Aye, no problem. Alright, who are the elves?
So I guess the technical, if we want to crush what Hathis is trying to do into a mechanical sense, it's learn about the foe. But the way he's going to go about doing it is he's going to go out in the woods and see if he can find any small patrols of goblins, orcs, people, what have you, or even if there's just some dangerous beasts in the area, just help the woodmen out a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
But specifically, what I'm trying to shoot for is just to, if I intercept any patrols, maybe I can figure out patrol patterns, get missives, learn a secret about the enemy force or strength or something.
So, are you trying to research lore?
It's weird because I'm trying to find information out about the enemy by going out to
but
kill.
the way you're doing it.
By going out to kill the enemy.
You're sort of merging two of them, but it sounds like the basis of it is you're researching lore.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure before I give you the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, you scrounge up with a handful of town guard that run routine patrols throughout the eaves and around the area. They do this over the course of sort of rotations every day, and some rotate in and out where they're not doing it every day, and they're like sort of they're on call, like I'm on this week, you're next week, and so on and so forth. And you sort of circle in. You circle in and you help them out for the period of the time that you're here. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
No longer at disadvantage. 20.
Nice.
So a couple of the weeks are fairly quiet. Not a whole lot, which the town guard takes as extremely good news. Like, there's nothing that's crept up this far north. But in the last few weeks, you come across a couple of wandering goblin patrols. That's the patrol, or the woodmen seem inclined to deal with, to either send them off and force them from the area, or to completely deal with them entirely and
Half the skills them.
All right. So you bear into them and take down the smaller ones as you encourage the rest of the woodmen to make sure no one escapes, that no word gets out, because if they are spies, then they'll return word of how large of a force might be here and what might be coming. So they heed this warning, and the patrol does their best to deal with all of them. Give me a survival check.
Oh, another survival check.
To make sure that you guys get them all.
I don't know. That's not bad, but I feel like I could burn inspiration, and it could be better, or it could be worse. How lucky am I feeling? It's more likely, statistically, it's more likely to be bad, to be worse than it is better, but fuck it. Ah! Oh no! Oh no! What have I done?
Oh no! Aww.
Natural 1 for a total of 3. In the scuffle, as you take care of 3 of the goblins on your own, the rest of the woodmen do their best to try and encircle the goblins, but one of them is wily enough to squirm away as he finds a gap in the line and dart off. The rest are annihilated, but one escapes. In the effort of dealing with these patrols and looking over the bodies, go ahead. I know it's particular ones, but in this case it might be different in my eyes.
Yeah.
You can give me nature, shadow lore, or Nature, shadow lore, or investigation?
Those are all int skills.
Oh, are they? Sorry, I'm rattling them off the top of my head. Oh, no, yeah, no, they're all supposed to be int. Never mind.
I was hoping for something I'd be decent at.
No, research lore specifically says intelligence.
But I'm getting intelligence via murder. I'm gonna go with.
You're looking for missives. You're investigating.
I'll hack their bodies to pieces.
Shadow lore to base it off of how they're acting or behaving. Nature, depending on just the area and how they're interacting with it, and just probably in their own behavior as well on a sort of primal.
15, not bad. I chose investigation. I was leaning between investigation and nature, and I went with investigation.
Okay. You investigate over the bodies that remain. Over the course of a couple of the patrols that ran into goblins, a handful of them carried crude parchment, sometimes just leather that looked like it was like either scratched into or burned for markings. A lot of it is in a language you don't understand, being black speech. But you do come across a handful of ones that are in Western, but it's almost like a broken Western, where it's like half a sentence is in Western, and then it's a black speech word, and then so on and so forth. You may ask your 3 questions.
Okay.
To see what these missives tell you.
Do they have to be yes or no questions?
Not necessarily.
Is there...
In fact, yes or no would probably hurt you more.
Yeah. Where? What? Who, what, where, and why? What is... Where's the secret entrance into Tyrants Hill?
There isn't one. None of the missives say of a secret entrance into Tyrants Hill.
Where is the bulk of their force?
Looking through the missives, there's not a whole lot of standing, like, garrison numbers. In fact, the scouting parties, for the most part, wouldn't have such a thing. But based on the correspondence, the bulk of the force sounds like it's further south than everything. Like, way further south.
Okay. Is the Nazgul at Tyrants Hill?
A couple of the missives that seem to bear the seal, or some semblance of a seal from Tyrants Hill, just based on looking, based on wording. You see multiple references to what you can assume was correspondence heading towards Tyrants Hill that are addressed to Dark One.
Oh, okay. Okay, those are my 3 questions.
Shrieker.
Nice.
Okay. So, falling in and out of patrol over the course of a few months, you do spend some time in town as well, to just rest and relax, and prepare yourself for what might come with whatever information you find. You do hear rumblings that one of your latest companions seems to have born a new title.
At some point, I walk by Nayla and I just go, General, and I just keep walking.
Hoffus, so you heard too.
You just keep walking.
I just keep walking.
Fair enough.
To make it worse, every time somebody refers to you as General, all the warriors around you stop and salute.
At one point, she's just like, crumples paper.
It gets worse to the point when somebody's just saying, like, yeah, over in this general area, General.
General.
You'll start seeing big red marks on her head consistently from just like constantly face palming.
General.
He ends up ripping a dude apart when he just asks, where's the general store?
Just heard Nayla from across the land. Fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything else you would wish to do in your month that's not undertaking specific?
Just hang out, drink milk.
Alright. Grow them bones.
That's why Hothus is so tall, canonically.
I was just gonna say.
Alright. Alright. That brings us to Arachrin.
Hi.
What would you like to do?
I would like to open a sanctuary.
So this is already a sanctuary.
Is it? Okay, I didn't know this town was considered a sanctuary since we weren't, like, welcome. That's fine. I think I'll spend time then. I think I will gain a new trait then. See, this was my backup.
Okay.
Especially since maybe just become very more hopeful, and definitely just sit with the town people talking about the rescue of the River Maiden, right? Starting off with the whole story, like, it started with a talking squirrel, which if I had a copper for every time I've had talking squirrels, I would have 2. I know that's not much, but that's definitely way too many to happen to you with talking squirrels. And go on along about how summoned from Rivendell area to Roscoe and meeting with Saruman and Radagast, talking about how they need about what happened at the Black Tarn, and what they need to do is figure out what's going on and going to see the spider and our trip to the spider, and how scary it got to the point where poor Mathan and Hothus were locked in combat, and then eventually I got stabbed with a big stinger and went full paralyzed in the stomach after trying to break the wards, and how we defeated the wards and Radagast blinded the giant spider and we made an escape. And then after making an escape, we made our way to the Black Tarn. We found the River Maiden washed ashore after we freed her from her spooky picture capture ward. And just going on and on about this stuff, and then how him and Hothus kind of snuck in the water, and he used this magic cloak he got from Galadriel and swam under, and there was a goblin sitting at the dock looking around, and he just sat still, quiet, waiting. And then the goblin walked off, and he walked over and he freed the boat that we came in on and pushed it out slowly to the middle of the lake towards Hothus, to where Hothus could then take the boat back and we could load the River Maiden up. And we were hastily carried on waters by the River Maiden sisters as, like, the current just reversed and we started going upstream at a faster speed with the rowing. Kind of just telling of hope and stuff, and just his adventure over the last few weeks to the people of Woodmen Town. So many woods.
Okay. So what trait are you looking to gain, or what distinctive feature of Arachrin are you looking to change?
think I'm looking for... Kind of looking at some of these virtuals here, right? Kind of just making him a bit... more foresightful, right? Just telling of his adventures and using that to reflect back and kind of learn to maybe get some foresight, such as the foresight of their kindred, which is a Dunedain culture trait, and just kind of get a little wiser as he's telling his tales and learning from these experiences. And as he's telling these tales, he's reflecting and kind of learning from his mishaps and his misdeeds, and where he fell in combat and became unconscious, where to better himself and his allies and work to gain, just to be a little more formidable against this incoming shadow.
Just checking something.
I don't know about you, but I've never seen a river reverse its current. It was crazy. We were in a whirlpool and suddenly it just like went and it just tells at bars, tells in this town square. And then tell how we saved the River Maiden by bringing her here to the hall, and we used the magic lantern that blinded him. It just blocked his whole vision out. But then the River Maiden regained consciousness and she seemed more herself. And that we're ready to take back the Black Tarn and get ready to stop against this discretion against Woodmen people's lands. Drive back this taint.
Yeah, so in your time here, you definitely take upon a new trait of yourself. You don't gain a virtue. You don't become foresight. That'd be a really impressive ability to just gain. But you can change like a distinctive feature about yourself, your specialty, or your hope or source of despair. Those are like sort of the traits that you can change.
Okay, so that's changed. Let's change from being vengeful to probably being more. This is not, or maybe it's just not in the book. Probably the background stuff. Backgrounds. Help. Right now I'm set to vengeful. Maybe we should change that off being vengeful and being more hopeful.
Okay. Based on the efforts of Radagast in Talkin's lair and the River Maidens ushering you on through the river, and that in the darkness of what is currently Mirkwood and everything that is transpiring, that those small acts of things, and even your fellow companions, still provides the smallest beacon of hope, which fills you with a sense of warmth and perseverance to hope for a better day for these lands.
Excellent.
Is there anything else you wish to do in your month of...
I mean, definitely probably just continuing what we set up last time in session, where we weren't very well looked when we arrived, so he wants to just keep improving that view by helping out around town and telling all different stories of his adventures, whether they be here in Rovenia or over in Rivendell. Even talking when no one's listening, because he just doesn't realize no one's listening. He's just going to keep going and going and going.
Okay.
and going and going and going.
Okay.
To the point where I think people are gonna just get used to him and like, oh, that's that cool guy. He's just a good guy. Just kind of increase.
Yeah, that's
people's
that
mood.
cool guy.
I was gonna say, that's that guy.
That annoying guy, that harmless guy, but he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
The guy.
The guy.
It's the
It's
guy.
definitely not Elijah Wood as the guy. Spy Kids 3, anybody?
Nah, I never saw it.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh,
So, after a month time of spending in the area, small reprieve. In this time, Duskwater did make her exit in the middle of the night. She did leave behind, to, as she's informed Nayla, a small note of a very vague description of an area near the Black Tarn.
Near the Black Tarn.
Near enough.
Okay.
Whatever near is to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Vague enough description. But she had returned to the water. In this time, the forces of the Woodmen swell, and boats come down from Woodland Hall that look very long ship reminiscent. Shields are adorned on the outside of the hull, with a single mast and a handful of rowers. There's a garrison in Woodmen Town that has not been seen in some time. Forces from the 3 western Woodmen settlements. Radagast has not returned. But as the forces muster and gather around, it is the last final days of your break. Winter break, summer break, whatever you want to call it. Finals are coming up. All 4 of you convene with one another. What would you like to do?
huh? So just meet up with everybody at the tavern if that's where we're agreeing to eat.
It's up to you guys. This is to everybody.
Say,
You see, half this
Nayla owes me a drinking game.
Hafiz is in there just drinking another large glass of milk.
Hafiz is overseeing the drinking game with his milk. Sure, fine.
I guess just keep drinking until you can.
Great words of encouragement, Hafiz.
Ah,
I'm inspired.
How about may your drink flow as endlessly as the river into the sea.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Hata shrugs and just says, "Good. I'll drink."
All right. Cheers, Mathan.
cheers.
What number is this?
This is number 1.
Oh. Wasn't sure where we were in this game.
Down the hatch is where we are.
Number 1.
I don't want to set any unrealistic expectations, so we're starting with 1 drink.
That's fair. We're at the start of this. Cool. And chuck.
Shot.
Finish.
Okay, now you both drank 1 drink. Drink the second drink.
Because you're drinking milk, you should say something inspirational every round.
Every round? May
Does he have to?
spring
Yeah.
bring the promise of new life and prosperity to us all.
Yay.
you and Thea should have like a poetry battle or inspiration battle.
Did we just propose a rap battle in Middle
I'm just saying words. You know, you just look at nature and you can. Everything's out there. Everything you need.
I like it.
Now drink your second drink.
All right. Here, clink, chug. And may your milk be ever tasty.
The fuck do you need milk for?
He's drinking milk.
Yeah, why? I mean, his bones are like, bah, while our bones are like, hey.
I feel like Mathan is being affected.
2 drinks in and he's done.
Fuck you, another round.
Let's move on to the third round, and may the soft light of the moon guide you into gentle sleep.
No, seriously, you and Thea could like write a novel together with those kind of words.
Drink your third drink.
All right. I try to clink, but I almost like put Mathan in the head instead.
just gonna slip and just go. All right, chug.
Give me Constitution saving throws.
Oh no. I have no idea what she's taking.
Why? I am proficient in that.
Oh no.
Hey, you RP'd it right though.
The room's starting to tilt for the two of you. Mathan seems to be hitting you a little bit harder. Woodman mead, man. It's a little different than what you're used to, but you're still there.
Keep it going.
You know what? Maybe I like the general title. Certainly better than Exile and She and freaking...
General She Exile. Another drink.
What? No, fuck you.
You guys just dunk your mug horns into a barrel of mead. Take them out.
Yeah, really. Down.
There's actually quite lively going on. There's not just you in the tavern. There's most of the warriors, and the whole town seems to be quite excited, quite lively of what's going on. Almost like they're marching to war the next day.
May your hope flourish after, like a plant after the harsh winter.
Man. Drink. That was 4?
Constitution saves.
Yep,
Oh god.
that's
Okay.
number 4.
No. Ooh,
Oh my
slavery.
god.
Oh,
I
you're
am
definitely better.
I'm proficient in it. What the fuck, dude?
Nathan, is there 3 Naylas?
I see 4.
For what?
Yes.
What?
Mathan, when you pass out, may you awake without the splitting headache that a woodpecker may deliver.
I'll give you a woodpecker if you know what I'm saying. Another drink.
Gross. Gross.
Mathan, do you have a woodpecker like Nayla's eagle?
What?
What's their name? What's your woodpecker's name, Mathan?
Little Mathan, let's go.
How come I've never seen it? Where do you keep it? Where?
Good night, everybody.
Office.
Hafiz thinks it's a bird because he's talking.
She's about to drink and goes, no, Hafiz, it's not an animal.
Nathan's
Oh,
one drink
you're
away.
making an a word that's another word.
Joke. Yeah, he's making a joke.
Nathan's one drink away from showing you it, so.
Good 5th drink, come on. I'll go get you a pillow, Mathan.
And cheers! Bonks in the head.
On saves at disadvantage.
Oh no.
Shit.
This is where the nat 20s come out.
Now I roll.
Wow.
Oh!
Now I roll
All right.
decent.
You feel it. You're like, nope, not today.
Not this day!
Ellie's feeling a little full, though.
And
Yep.
May, when when we meet death on the battlefield, may we walk away as friends.
Yes, and when we get on the battlefield, she's gonna stand up and just hold her mug out. May we kick their asses at Black Tarn and take our home back!
Yes, General, yes!
I'm the general, Chug.
The sixth drink.
I'm gonna drink. I am not letting her outdrink me.
Alright.
We're committed to this fucking bit.
Is he changing the music?
Yeah. Con saves at disadvantage.
Hey. Oh. Alright.
Ooh.
Oh no! At least she did a nice hurrah.
You both. But only Nayla just a second sooner. Lose everything.
Oh!
As you feel it bubbling up and you go right to the floor to hear the splatter of it all.
And let this be a lesson: when you engage in battle with one another, no one wins.
Nah, I'm just gonna look and go like, the way I see it, we made room for another round.
Oh,
I'm gonna go fill it up again.
that hurt. I hate that. Oh. You're getting more?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you hear a bell?
I didn't hear no bell.
Hathis is gonna take a knife and a glass plate and just like ding it. And then he, with his just brute strength, he probably accidentally shatters the plate.
Oh.
I'm just gonna look. It's like, see, this guy's already getting rowdy. I love it.
No, that was an accident. I apologize. I don't know whose plate that was, to be honest.
Look, I think that's good. I gotta feed my bird.
The barmaid looks over at you with like 1,000-yard stare. Hi, Bjornen. There's our only glass plate. Are you daft or something?
You know what? I'm gonna flip her.
Look around you. We're the woodmen. The woodland horn. Everything is wood or horn. We have one glass plate, and you go and fuck it up.
I'm gonna flip her a gold piece, and I go like, so everything's wood around here. I got something else for you that's wood, and I'm gonna walk away.
You can fuck off.
Gladly, meet me in my room.
Hathis is gonna grab Mathan,
Hey,
pick him up over his shoulder, and he says, "I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you by removing him." And Hathis is gonna take
I'm gonna try and roll
Mathan.
off his shoulder.
Give me a dexterity saving throw as he tries to grab you.
Can I make an argument that because he's drunk, he's technically poisoned and has disadvantage?
I was gonna give him disadvantage anyway, but yeah.
Okay.
Damn. I'm 16 and not fucking 20.
Do you need a check from me?
Yeah, just give me athletics.
Please be bad at athletics. Yes!
Oh, wow!
It's slippery drunk.
At that point,
It's the vomit. Let's be honest. It's the vomit that makes him slippery.
I'm running around like a greased up deaf guy at this point. You're never gonna catch me.
Hey, we got any leftover food back there? Scraps for the bird.
Leftover, you bloody well ate everything.
Damn.
Damn, she mean.
What?
I said, damn, she mean.
Oh.
Where's Arakron?
Right here.
Arakron,
Yes, my friend. My
Do you-
very tall, hairy friend.
do you dance?
Not well. No.
Come on,
No.
dance.
Okay, I will attempt to dance.
We may
badly.
meet death tomorrow, so let us
I
enjoy
don't
life.
like that either, but okay. He will attempt to dance. It is not very good, and he falls quite a bit.
Hathis will dance just as badly with him because Hathis probably isn't a good dancer either.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are out there with 2 left feet.
I'm talking like.
Office is probably big enough that he's just bumping into people.
Pretty much, but you're having a good time.
Just resorts to like bouncing in the end in one place. Just like
Oompa, loompa, doopa,
As all this is going on, the 2 of you are out in the makings of a open space as tables and stuff get pushed aside. Avana makes her way over to Nayla and sits down across from her.
I quickly wipe vomit off my face.
Alright then. Is this how...
Once in a while, right?
Is this how we'll behave before the march every morning?
No.
What are your orders, General?
For right now?
No, for tomorrow.
Oh.
We need marching orders. We have a standing army or some semblance of one. What are we to do?
Can I arm wrestle one of the soldiers?
Yeah, if you can find one. They're all over the place.
I'll find one.
If you can find one that's real, because you're seeing triple.
We'll start in the morning. Try to make catch as much daylight as we can to get there. Perhaps I can get some scouts out there too, just keep updating us on numbers as we get closer.
Shall I dispatch a forward scout party now?
Arakrin, your foot doesn't go that way.
Oh no!
Place it here. Do it this way instead.
No.
Okay.
No, but let everyone enjoy the night.
Very well.
Even the most grumpy people like me can at least have that.
That's fair. For many, this may be their last.
Yeah. Give him the night. We'll start in the morning.
So march at first light,
Yes.
make our way for Black Tarn.
And we
when the village, and when the village is secured,
depending how and with what resources we have left after securing the village, we'll go from there. One step at a time.
very well.
Thanks for everything.
I should have retired probably about 3 years ago now, but here I am.
Well, I know I haven't been the best chieftain.
I was captain to the chieftain before you.
Yes. My point being is I appreciate everything you've done, and I am thankful that you are here at my side. Despite constantly leaving to pursue other means. Me, I mean.
You're most welcome, my liege.
My liege?
My liege.
Is that really another one?
There will always be another one for somebody of your station. And for somebody here who is now the general of the Woodmen army.
Not you two. No.
A toast!
She leans in real close. Get used to it. They need someone to rally behind. Hope is a thread. You are bigger than this now.
You're right. You're right.
She sees you, Hothus, and raises her mug as well.
My mug of milk. May the general lead us into the valley of death, and may we come out the other side unscathed.
Everybody sort of cheers in response. Mead splashes from the mugs and hits the floor. People swaying a bit as they finish off their drinks. You best get some rest. It's a long march, but it could be longer if your head says otherwise.
Yeah, based on how the last round with Mathan went, yeah, I'll turn in soon.
Wimp.
Yeah, Haru's pecking at the floor where you both kind of bleh.
No, I'll get you food. I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna get up and head toward, like, the direction of their kitchen or whatever. If they have one.
They're simple folk.
Bread, scraps, even moldy.
Here's this.
Thanks. Silver penny.
A generous liege.
Son of a... I turn and walk away. Get back to my bird. Here, and I start like how people now incorrectly feed ducks by ripping pieces of bread and just tossing it.
I don't know why he sounds like Yoshi. As the evening carries on, and slowly, one by one, everyone sort of either turns in or passes out. You all find ways to get some amount of sleep. In the next morning, outside the walls of the village, let me change it. That's way too the beginning snap, but you get the point. There's the four of you, some of you who might be shielding your eyes from the sun and holding your temples. Make your way out with all your gear. And out in front of the fields, in front of the palisade walls, you see a couple of legions standing in rank and file of woodmen warriors. A couple on horseback, standing up front, waiting. There's a few banners from various villages that decorate the now standing army.
Oh.
As the four of you make your way up to the front, and on one of the horses is Avana, who looks down at you. Any words of inspiration before we march, General?
Sure.
And
Oh, God.
she throws her leg off behind her and dismounts the horse and steps down to your height and holds the reins and moves over to let you take the horse. To be above as sort of like a pedestal.
All right. I'll get up on the horse. Not tense at all.
As a wind cuts through the field, and you hear mostly silence, but you hear the shifting of wooden shields and axes in hand, and just the rustling and murmurs of those standing out in front of you.
Oh, fuck me.
Don't lead with that.
I know that. We have all lost a lot, especially recently. Be it homes, friends, loved ones. or anything in anyone else. But even though they have been taken from us, it does not mean that we are over as a land or people. We may have been beaten down to the ground before, but here we are, all together, and especially as one, to rise again from the dirt. We are here to right what has been done wrong to us, and we won't let it happen again, now will we?
The whole force raising fists, swords, axes, spears into the sky as they respond to you. No, we will not!
It's time to take back what was stolen from us and to not let those losses be in vain. We don't just march for the Black Tarn, but we march as the Woodmen. And as one unit of Woodmen we stand, and all of Mirkwood will know it.
What? The beating on the chest and the shields is there's just like a beat of sound and a cadence, almost like a war cry.
So let's teach this shadow a lesson of who we really are as men. And if you're with me on this, we ride now. And I'm just gonna like... Well, I'll pause for like 2 beats to give it like an obvious notice that I'm done with like a final shout of "we ride now," and then after whatever reaction, I'll start riding forward.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, you finish your speech, and as the warriors echo their plights, their shortcomings, their struggles of everything that has begot these lands for so long, and they are officially fed up with it, and they have thrown their lot in with you, and they will follow you.
Tyrants is gonna be high up in the sky, flying above me, like a marker to follow.
He circles above, and you canter your horse out in front of the group as they begin to fall into more straightened up ranks and begin to march. And as you get probably about 20 feet out in front of the column, you pull back on the horse and it rears up, and as you do, you blow the horn of war that echoes through the valley. The Woodmen march to war.
Oh.
And that is where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, my tummy!
Next week, and see what transpires at the Black Tarn. Also knowing that there is a boon from one of the river maidens nearby.
Right.
So, thank you all for joining us tonight. This concludes the fellowship phase, and we will begin the next adventuring stint next week. This is the last fellowship phase you would probably get, and barring a couple of situations, long rests might be hard to come by.
No.
Steel yourselves. The host of Nazgul will greet you. We'll see you all next week.
Oh.